Welcome to Spark Today News. Today in the studio we have with us one of the directors of Aimtron Electronics, Mr. Nirmal Vasani. Welcome to the Spark studio, sir. Such a pleasure to be talking with you on the topic that we are going to conduct today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
My first question to you, sir. Tell us something about the Aimtron Electronics. How did it start? To be precise, the history of Aimtron Electronics.
So, in order to give you a history of Aimtron, I have to first give you a very brief introduction about the founder. My father, Mukesh Vasani, founded the Aimtron group of companies about 10 years ago. But before that, he started out born and raised in a small village in Gujarat, India. And from there, he traveled to the US in order to make a name for himself. He traveled to the US, and after working incredibly long hours, incredibly hard work, going through 2 full-time jobs and schooling at the same time, he managed to get to the point where he could set up a business of his 10 years ago. And from then on, he built up not only in the USA, but around 8 or 9 years ago, he also came back to India and he decided to give back to the society here.
So sir, my next question to you is, what is the core of the Aimtron Electronics, the core of the business?
So our core business is we manufacture and assemble PC boards, PC board assemblies. That business on its own is our main business. However, we do have a couple of spin-off businesses that we operate on the side. One such business is producing designs for electronic assemblies. So we would design the PCB and its enclosures. Another business is the mechanical assembly, so all the enclosures that it goes into. And then the third business is not so much a business, but a non-for-profit arm of the company. That is the Aimtron Foundation. And that foundation is mainly a way to bridge the gap between the education that is provided by schooling and what is truly required by the industry.
Like any business would start up with the objective and goal. So what is the future objective and goal of Aimtron Electronics?
So Aimtron Electronics, the future goal of that is within India to increase our operations by around 300%. We're going to do that by becoming a technology-based company and being driven by introducing new technologies, new innovations, and new ideas, combining India's brain power along with the systems and processes developed in the United States. We wish to hire and increase our engineering efficiency many times over here.
Sir, tell us more about the infrastructure of the Aimtron Electronics.
Currently, we have about 15,000 square feet of dedicated manufacturing space that is actively in use, and manning them about 100 engineers. Aside from that, we have an additional 45,000 square feet of space that is allocated for future expansion. One such expansion is one that we're working on right now, which should be underway within the next 40 days. Within the next 40 days, we'll be utilizing about another 10,000 square feet of space. And then over the next few years, all 45,000 that we have unallocated is going to be used for dedicated manufacturing.
Sir, tell us about the infrastructure at Aimtron Electronics.
So, the infrastructure at Aimtron is centric to bringing American principles, American systems and technologies over to India and creating a win-win situation for both. Right now, we have about 10,000 square feet of active manufacturing space, and we have around 50,000 that is unallocated that we have left as room for future expansion. Within that 10,000 square feet that we have right now, we have a few lines of high-speed robotics, state-of-the-art equipment. To give you an idea, this machinery can take the components for a smartphone and assemble it in under 30 seconds. So these machines are very high speed, they're well equipped to deal with the modern difficulties of manufacturing. And in order to operate them, we have around 100 engineers who are well trained and are skilled enough to be able to operate both the machinery and understand the complexity of what they are manufacturing.
So sir, what is the vision of the Aimtron Electronics?
The vision of Aimtron Electronics, or more accurately, the vision of our founder, Mukesh Vasani, is best put in two parts. The first part, and the most important part as to why we have created manufacturing operations in India, is simply because he wants to give back to society. He wants to help develop the state that raised him. He wants to help develop the area that made him. And in order to do that, he has brought his knowledge and his business savviness over to India so that he can help develop it. The second part is becoming a truly preferred partner for everyone that we work with. What we mean by preferred partnership is working with Aimtron rather than working with anyone else should be easy. Working with Aimtron should fit well. It should be intuitive. It's something that we strive to do in all of our operations. We strive for preferred partnership with our customers, with our supply chain partners, and even with our employees. We try to be good partners to them and create a working environment that is effective and is conducive to their efforts.
Sir, which all countries are the clients of Aimtron Electronics?
We have about 50 different countries that we export to, spread around 6 different continents. Essentially every continent except for Antarctica we have shipped to.
So sir, what is the motive behind setting up the manufacturing unit in Vadodara, India, despite having ample of the opportunities in other countries?
So that's a very good question. I'm very glad you asked that. There's a couple parts to that, but first of all, it's very strategically located. Vadodara has good access to railways, good access to airway, and good access to waterways. So we can ship via land, sea, and by ground. So in terms of the transportation availability, it's very strategically located. There have been numerous studies done to say that geographically it is a rather safe area. For instance, there's going to be lower chances of earthquakes here than in other places in India. And the most important reason as to why Vadodara is because of the untapped amount of sheer intellectual horsepower, the engineering minds that Vadodara has to offer. When you look around, you will see institutions and technical universities everywhere you look. Vadodara has some of the best and brightest minds for engineering. Vadodara has a tremendous amount of untapped engineering and intellectual capacity that Aimtron wants to help develop and shape into becoming the future of India.
Sir, how do you see India with the competitiveness compared to the other countries, especially in the manufacturing, design and electronics?
So, that's one of the things that differentiates Aimtron as compared to the other electronics manufacturers that are out there, is we provide all solutions under one roof. Regardless of where a product is within its life cycle, we can support it. Whether it's in infancy and design, we can take that design and make it ready for production. Whether you need something that is prototyped, we can prototype it and tell you where exactly the opportunities are within this product that can make it better before it goes into full production. And from production support to obsolescence support, we have all ends of the spectrum covered. The other differentiator is having a global presence, a winning combination between American ingenuity and Indian ingenuity. US systems, US processes, these have been developed for hundreds of years. They are very well thought of, well tried out, and have a proven track record of success. When you combine that with the creativity and the engineering mindset that India has to offer, we have a combination that no one else in the world can beat.
Sir, what sets Aimtron apart from other similar service providers?
A lot of it has to do with that global presence that I just mentioned too, and having to do with having all related services under one roof. But it really goes back to that vision of being a preferred partner, of being someone that is easy to work with, that working with just becomes it doesn't become a hassle, it becomes something that everyone looks forward to doing.
Sir, with that being said, what is the future plan of the company?
The future plan of the company is, again, becoming a technology-based company. taking our operations and increasing it by 300%. But really, the focus is how can we innovate? How can we take our current processes and how can we use this global combination of US processes, India's brainpower, and come up with something so different that we can change the way manufacturing happens?
Let us know any key projects or clients that the Aimtron Electronics is catering to currently.
Sure. Essentially, if you drill down to it in as simple as possible terms, Aimtron is all about preferred partnership and combining the resources of the world rather than resources of one place individually.
Sir, anything you would like to share at last to conclude with?
First of all, I really want to thank you for your time. I really want to thank you for inviting me here. I enjoyed myself immensely. I would just like to say that no matter what the problem is, Aimtron will come up with a timely, cost-effective solution when we will support whoever works with us throughout the entirety of the project.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a pleasure talking to you on this project, the Aimtron Electronics. And as you can see, audience, Vadodara is not just an art-oriented city, but also a big hub now for business and new things that are being explored by people from all around the world. To conclude with today's talk show, for more such national, international, local, district updates, stay tuned to Spark Today News.